This is a wooden temple in Osaka that has stood for 1400 years. But 3 blocks away, a family is tearing down a fully functional home they built in the 90s. In most of the Western world, a house is an investment that grows over decades. But in Japan, a home is often treated like a car or a piece of clothing, something that loses its value the moment you start using it. The typical lifespan of a building here is only about 30 years. But why doesn't a country that's famous for preserving its history value its houses? And what does this reveal about how the Japanese think about the future? The year is 1996. Minato Takashi has just moved in to his new home in Osaka. He is 30 years old, the first person in his family to own land. His father rented the same apartment in Kobe for 40 years. Takashi swore he would do something different, something permanent. It's a classic Japanese home. The light in the living room is soft, filtered through shoji. Delicate sliding doors made of translucent paper and thin wooden frames. At the heart of the home is the washitsu, a traditional room where the floor is covered in the earthy scent of tatami mats made from rice straw. The whole structure is built from natural wood, the way Japanese homes have been built for centuries. That choice of material isn't just aesthetic. Japan sits at the intersection of 4 tectonic plates. On average, a massive earthquake, magnitude 6 or higher, strikes Japan once every single month. These earthquakes are powerful enough to shatter brick and crumble concrete. But the wood is different. It's flexible. Instead of snapping under the pressure, the wooden frame bends and sways, absorbing the energy of the quake and moving with it. In terms of pure strength, these wooden beams are built to last generations. Far longer than the 30-year lifespan they are actually given. But in the Japanese housing market, how long a building can stand and what it is actually worth are 2 very different things. And the gap between them is enormous. In the summer of 2004, Takashi takes a closer look at his house. The glossy finish on the sliding doors has begun to tarnish. The raw wood of the washitsu floor is darker. For the temple, that would be adding character. There is a Japanese expression called mono no aware, being moved by impermanence. It describes a deep awareness that everything passes, combining melancholy with an appreciation for the beauty of the moment that will never happen again. But Japanese don't apply it to houses. For them, the home is losing its most valuable asset, its novelty. The Japanese market places a massive premium on the new. This sentiment dates back to the Second World War. After the war ended, Japan needed to rebuild. Most houses were constructed from cheap materials. This allowed to meet huge demand for housing, but there was a problem.
In response to structural concerns, we introduced new earthquake regulations. The updated building code, known as the Shin Taishin standard, significantly strengthens seismic requirements.
Years of saving costs on construction has left a mark on Japanese culture. For a long time, owning a brand new home was a symbol of prestige, while an old one was seen as a gamble.
Homes constructed after 1981 will be required to meet stricter safety guidelines designed to withstand major earthquakes.
Buyers often walk away the moment they hear a house was built before 1981, the year earthquake laws were tightened. And even for homes built after that, there is a sense of caution as if the building is a ticking clock. Even though Takashi's house is built with new regulations, he can no longer put the home on sale and expect the price to be equal or better than what he paid for its construction. The house is now worth only half of what he initially paid. But this is just the beginning of the trouble. It's 2011. The house is now 15 years old. From the street, it looks exactly as it did on the day it was finished. The walls are straight and the roof tiles are perfect. But behind the paint and siding, the house has started to breathe differently. Takashi takes a closer look at the wooden beams inside Washitsu and runs a hand along the base of the structural timber. The wood feels cold. It clings to his thumb with a damp stickiness. In Japan, the air itself is the greatest enemy of the wooden building. The climate is incredibly humid. For centuries, traditional Japanese homes used natural materials. These materials were designed to naturally regulate the moisture in the air to keep the structure dry. This allowed the houses to last a century and sometimes even longer. But the post-war building boom changed the rules for good.
During Japan's late 20th century housing boom, traditional materials such as cedar and clay were increasingly replaced with mass-produced alternatives.
Takashi chose the same modern materials for his home.
Developers favored vinyl siding, synthetic insulation, and chemical sealants to reduce costs and accelerate construction timelines.
But they don't manage moisture effectively. In an attempt to make the home more energy efficient, the builders added thick layers of insulation. This combination created a trap, locking humidity inside the walls where it can't escape. Within just 15 years, the very things meant to modernize the home are causing it to degrade from inside out. Takashi decides to start saving for a restoration. But the damage inside walls is only half of the story. It's 2018 and the house has reached the age of 22. This is a critical year for Takashi. He receives a letter with tax assessment. On it, he is informed about the assessed value of the building. It shows 0.
The depreciation schedule for wooden residential buildings is determined by guidelines issued by the Ministry of Finance.
The National Tax Code sets the useful life for wooden structures at exactly 22 years. On paper, the building is now worth almost nothing.
In 1951, the official useful life of a wooden home was set at 30 years. Subsequent revisions gradually reduced that figure to 22.
By telling the public that the house expires this quickly, the government created a massive scrap and build cycle. More demand for new houses meant more money for developers and banks, which kept the economy moving. But it forced a typical person to build 2 or even 3 homes in their lifetime instead of just 1. While the wooden temple is maintained and taken care of, with each rotting beam being replaced just in time, the houses are often left to decay. Since the home is valued at 0 regardless of its condition, Takashi has no financial reason to invest in it. It's 2026 and the home has turned 30 years old. By this time, an average house was either demolished or abandoned. Takashi wants to move to Tokyo and decides to give the property one last chance by putting it on the market. The asking price is equal only to the value of the land it stands on. He doesn't have high hopes. However, the disposable culture is finally starting to take a turn. The damage done by synthetic materials is real but fixable. With the right repairs, the structure can easily last for several more decades. This time, instead of demolition crew, the young family decides to buy the property. They realize that while the novelty is gone, the house is still worth fixing. The 30-year expiration date doesn't represent the unavoidable end. It is just a habit from times when it was a necessity. Still, the Takashi house stands as one example among many less optimistic stories. Millions of abandoned and decaying houses are present across Japan, waiting for the second life that is never coming.